The divine spirit lives within us and within all the elements and all the beings in this living natural world. And it's this very essence or spark that can be felt and seen for some. And while to many it may sound like this magical thing that's not real, but remembering our divine spirit allows so much more to open up from within, like this blossoming rose full of knowledge that is correct and right for our path. Let's look at this concept and how this has been shared well before this time right now. Hello, I'm Natalie. If we've never connected before, I founded Awakening Magick and newly created Forge and Flow with my husband, Mark. If you've been here before, thank you for joining again. I like to peer into the multidimensional, and what this means is the offerings we have work with all the layers, from the physical to the energetic fields surrounding us and that surround all things. So in sessions, we look at unique ancestral wisdom, the ancient minerals that are needed to hold higher frequencies in our bodies, and plant wisdom through herbal and flower essence support, plus more that I didn't mention. I also adore working with cats and dogs because much of all of that applies to them too. The divine spirit is one of my favorite topics. It's even in the Awakening Magick logo because it's the essence that carries the divine spark or the eternal living source. And there are so many words or ways to feel that and what to say. God source, creator, mother, father, God. The essence of this is what I'm trying to capture, what has often been called the God spark as well. So it's that creator within us, the divine spirit that flows through us, that flows through the wind, that flows through the very trees that are surrounding me, that flows through the sacred waters and the stream that's behind me. It's in the flowers, it's in the bees, within all things. And the wisdom of the divine spirit, that God spark, that essence, is perhaps even what many have called this higher self, but it's not higher. It's just within us, in the here, in the now, and we're coming into form in a multi-dimensional way. And so it's bringing all of that and anchoring it into a place that's held here within us. And it's the essence of who we truly are. And when it's fully remembered and it's no longer forgotten, that is remembering the spirit and is vital for when we no longer search for source or something out there, and we're realizing that the tools and the work and all the things that we can do to clear blockages in our body that create kind of these cages around us, the clearing of the ancestral baggage or the baggage even of our own experiences that leaves bruises, we could say, in our energetic field. These are all the things when we clear and we're doing all of that beautiful work that assists us to feel that divine within. It's not about this inversion that we've seen, which is becoming so-called gods or goddesses, but it's remembering that there's no need to desire something that is outside of us or that is superficial, distorted, with inverted power behind it. That's what we've seen unfold. But it's that very power that makes all things, that is that divine spark, it is that divine spirit, that essence that lives within. And it's ever present. It is eternal to perceive and feel and to know that it's there. And if you've been here in other videos with me before, you know that part of my sharings and the gifts that I love exploring is that there's been primordial wisdom drops that have been left in ancient texts. And to me, since I was very young, these are like crumb trails of remembering. The divine spirit allows me to find these beautiful excerpts. Hence the book opening sequences in the beginning of all my videos. It speaks volumes. There's so much distortion to often get through. There's a lot of misinterpretations, but what we can feel is that truth has a vibration to it. One of the texts that I'm going to mention here that holds a lot of insight around the divine spirit, it's called the Kolbrin. And it's a Celtic text by nature, but it's a compendium of about 600 pages. And so it offers all of these story sharings from, I would say, ancient Kemet, which is before the word Egypt, but ancient Egyptian, we could say, and then also the Celtic angles of wisdom. I felt like the Kolbrin had many words that were distorted, and some of the essences within it were changed. But there are also many gems that are hidden within it, and also there are so many truths as well, peering into the underbelly, I would say, or the underworld of what has actually happened here, and still is happening. There are many sharings that are spoken within this text by the ancient Druid lineage. It's the genuine Druid lineage, though. This lineage is also monks, the shamans, etc. So that lineage is holding different names in different parts of this world. The Kolbrin speaks on celebrating the divine spirit. And upon reading some of the words, my whole being just got chills and resonates on all those layers and all the levels. And so that's that inner discernment, isn't it? This supports humanity has the magic already held within them. That's the magic that I'm always talking about in Awakening Magic. And that is connected absolutely to the divine spirit that we all hold, and that's in all things. To give a little background on this text, in case you want to do your own research, the Kolbrin is a melding of manuscripts and scrolls and stories, oral stories that were then written down. This is from the ancient lands that were at one time known as the Albion. And the Albion is something I talk about a lot in videos. But Albion was energetically connected, and even physically, we could say, to Egypt, or what we could say is Kemet, also through portals or stargates. There's a huge connection between these two and why there were all these things melded together. The compendium was at one time known as the Great Book. The unfortunate part is that a lot of the pieces, a significant portion, I would say, was lost when Glastonbury Abbey was set on fire. Around 1184 Common Era. That attack was on purpose, and it was ordered by a tyrannical king upholding the so-called church, which, as many of us know, that is an organization, a corporation even, and a vile one at that. And so really, of course, having nothing to do with this true creator that we're talking about. But this tyrannical king was the English King Henry II. And he accused the abbey's priests of being, of course, mystical heretics. Now, what mystical heretics even means is those that were holding wisdom, that these warring, religious, and tyrannical so-called kings and queens, who, of course, are distortions of what that truly meant at one time, these factions did not want people to know about the wisdom. They didn't want these wisdom keepers to be sharing information, because when humans know that the eternal living source of all that is within us as well as within all things, well, then why would people pay the religious organization lots and lots of money? And why would they pay these tyrannical kings who are supposedly helping them? And why would they go to priests if they already know that, well, I have a direct connection, so what do I need you for? And so this has always been one of the largest deceptions, as many of us know, because if humanity knows that they can go direct inside of their own spirits, their own souls, their own beings, without going into some formal religion or some kind of faction to get that from a conduit, then that conduit's power gets taken away. So it's simple wisdom like this that has really meant that the extremists in this world would want to wage war on that kind of simple wisdom, to create genocides, to stamp that down and make sure people don't know about it, and we can track that across this world. So the scribes, when that attack happened, and that genuine druid, the genuine lineages carrying this wisdom of the abbey, of course, tried to seek refuge. And as the story goes, they took what was left of what was called the Great Book and then passed it down generation to generation to try to keep this kind of wisdom alive. That's that crumb trail that I'm speaking to. And so they transcribed the surviving Phoenician translations onto these bronze sheets, and then they stored them in these copper-clad wooden boxes. And so that undertaking became the Bronze Book. Around the 18th century or so, that Bronze Book was combined with all this Celtic wisdom, which was called the Kol Book, and that resulted in a translation that then became the Kolbrin Bible. The word Bible, from an etymology perspective, is from Greek, meaning biblia, which means book, and comes from biblos, which is Phoenician. It's the Kolbrin Book, we could say. That's what Bible means. Here is one of the quotes that I adored. Let me just pull this up. Okay. Those who turn away from the glorious jewel within to seek an outside God, a separate, unresponsive being, are looking for a mere trinket while disregarding the priceless treasure already in their keeping. I thought that was very beautiful. And then there's another gem all about honoring our divine spirit within. And this specific one is from a fragment of a manuscript that was saved and was written by a druid or a lineage who became known as those who have the quote-unquote splendid vision. What this next quote states is that someone who awakens to the everlasting divine spirit within they became known as an awakened one. And so this primordial teaching is truly of the genuine druidic lineage. This lineage served and still serves as guardians to uphold these kinds of wisdom drops. And it's all about remembering. So here's the other quote. Okay. All hail the everlasting spirit within, the real self, the seat of all thought, inseparable from me. I am one who can truly call soul everlasting, for I am one of the awakened ones, one of the few who have at long last attained the splendid vision. I have seen the bright flash of truth in the darkness of earthly existence, so I am free, I am illuminated. My perspective, that is the way that I really see this. That is the magic, the pure and original meaning of the word. And so this everlasting spirit is where God source, creator, the Tao, say what you will, resides. And it's not somewhere far away, but it's that spark that's connected directly within us in the living natural world. And we are nature, and this is one of the most powerful rememberings for us all. I appreciate you sticking around to the end of the video. I hope that this video helps to awaken more of your divine spirit magic. That is where the magic is always held. And save this just in case you need a little reminder. Because when we're serving as pioneers and showers of a way that breaks free from the false and taps into what that organic and pure spirit within feels like, we all have those days where we need reminders. And no matter our mission, we are all humans. We're all having these experiences together. And not every day can feel like magic. However, if we remember that we are the essence of love in this magical form, then I feel that we can approach each day with just a bit more wonder and place where magic resides. Thank you again for watching, and please share if you feel called and spread the magic.